Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Brancus Creations, and thank you very much for joining me today. As I've mentioned in the social stuff that I sent out today, this is my first video for MARCHintosh 2022, and so what we have is a little MARCHintosh logo. Whee! It is to any Australians that are watching here at the moment. Can you believe it about Warnie? I mean, what the 52, man? Crazy, hard to believe. Anyhow, so people that are not Australian or are not from cricketing nations will not know who I'm talking about, but a very, very famous Australian cricketer, Shane Warne, passed away, and we're all in shock because he was so young. Okay, so anyhow, that's enough of that. Let us continue. I mentioned in smash the like button if you like, please. Smash. I will play it a little bit later on. So 2 days ago, I got a message from David in WA. He's one of my recapping customers, and is a really, really nice person, great person to have in the sort of vintage computer community. I mean, he's just a really, really, really good person. And he just sent me a message out of the blue and said, buy this, and it was a link to an eBay sale for a Macintosh IIfx, and it basically looked like this. So that's the front there. I mean the back. Nothing wrong with me. And there's the front. You can see a little bit grubby. There's the side. It's got the interrupt button, which is nice, and there's a little view of that there, and they're up nice and close there. So anyhow, 149 Australian dollars it was, and it seemed a little bit, I mean, it's probably on the higher side of what I'd be prepared to pay for one in that condition. I would probably prefer to have got one looking like that, not being able to see inside it, looking like it's been used as an anchor, a boat anchor. I really would have liked to probably preferred to pay under $100 for one like that, but I thought to myself, you know what, let's just take a chance, we'll see how we go, and so I bought it. And if anyone saw the trailer that I did, so I discovered trailers for live streams today, yay! I actually recorded the very first opening of the IIfx. And I'm going to explain why I went down that path in a moment. I opened it up, and recorded it, and posted that, and you'll see what the state of it was inside. See that it had a Bigfoot, 5¼ inch hard drive, 160 megabyte, which incidentally I have fired up, and it spins, but the head doesn't. The head moves. The head's not locked, or it's not gummed up or anything. The head spins around, but it spins up, then the head lock releases, and then the head just goes bip, 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 and then it spins down again. So anyhow, I was hoping that there might be some treasures on that hard drive, but not so much. And I opened it up, and then I decided to ultrasonically clean it. The reason for that is that it really needs to be ultrasonically cleaned before I do anything. And as I've mentioned before, I don't like to ultrasonic while the live stream's on, because it's too noisy and it takes time and everything. So I ultrasonicked it, and let me just see if I can change views here quickly. This is what the board looks like now, and as you can see, it's a lot cleaner. And I have removed the battery holders. Here's the nasty battery that was doing all of the primary damage there. It will focus, it just takes time. It's just not a very particularly fast focus. There we go. So that's the battery that did the and it's left a lot of its damage here, and the damage was even on the other side as well. You can see that there, so it sort of leaked through. I'm going to probably give this board maybe a 50-50 chance that I'm going to be able to fix it up. I just realised that I have been sitting here chatting away. I haven't acknowledged anyone here in the chat. So let's go in and do that. Hello to CS Waffle. Alex is here. ALX Lab, I think that says. Elemento is here, hello. Retro Techie, GT is here. Thomas Armstrong is here. Kai is here, hello. Sad Mac, did I say Sad Mac? Dana Siberia is here. Sean from Action Retro is here. Jay from the House of Moth is here. Just bear with me a second here. That's a good question. Sorry, my wife's just asked me a question that I may actually have to go up and sort out. Yeah, okay, look, sorry, I'll be right back. Just give me 2 minutes, folks. This will be just quicker for me to actually go in and deal with this myself. I'll be right back. Boy, that was a little bit too fast. Very, very, very healthy person I am. Okay, I was working my way through saying hello to people, wasn't I? Joe is here, another Joe is here, Steve is here, Max Button is here, hello Max, Jared Burma, Quicksilver Oz, Michael's Workshop, hello Michael, Enzo Fitzhume, John Mortz. Have I missed anyone? Mike K. I think I got everyone. If I've missed anyone, I apologise. It's not personal. It is so wet here in Sydney. It is just... Justin is here. Hello, Justin. Code Professor, hello. It is so wet here in Sydney. It has been raining for weeks and everything is just drenched and muddy and humid and sticky and awful. And I'm just going to turn on this air conditioner just to try and dry out the air in here. Okay. Now, all right, so anyhow, back to the 2FX. 2FX picked up from eBay, picked it up yesterday. Thankfully it was only a couple of suburbs away, so I was able to just drive over and pick it up. Opened it up, found the ugliness, did a little bit of recording. Tried to clean off some of the gunk here. We're going to get this under the microscope and we're going to see just how bad things are. What needs to be replaced, what can be repaired, what the level of trace damage is like. Because of course one of the problems with the 2FX, I don't think this is just a 4-layer board. I think this might actually be like a 6-layer. Which means that we've actually got data lines going through in between layers, and that can be a real problem when it comes to vias being rotten through. Geroween, yes, that's correct, Max. That's where it was. Hello to Dan, Canadian Computer Collector. Are you having another one of your live streams tomorrow? The what do you call it? The going through and what's the word? Inventory. That's the word. Luckily, I have the 2FX schematics if you need them. Thank you, Kai. I think I have them as well. I'm pretty sure they're the Bowmark ones. So yes, that could well be coming in handy here. If I find a trace and I'm not sure where it goes, I will actually be able to look it up, and that is a massive plus. I cannot even begin to tell you the difference it makes to have a schematic of something when you're trying to work on it. And one day, we keep our fingers crossed that one day Apple might be kind to us and release all of the schematics for all their vintage stuff. Can you imagine how awesome that would be? Even if it was just up to like the 68K up to 68040, just the 68K range, how cool would that be? I live in hope. I live in hope. Right, so is that a PDS slot below the rightmost new bus slot. Yes, it is indeed, just there. That new bus slot there. We've got two floppy connectors there. We've got the SCSI connector there. We've got the power there. We've got the capacitor that sometimes goes bang when I'm doing live streams. Got a floating point unit there, which is a 688888888882. And then we've got our 68030 here. Really important thing to remember about the 2FX is when this thing was released. I mean, this was just the fastest thing. This was amazing. Even had its own RAM. These little slots here, you can see it's got the little dip in the middle there. And so these had different RAM to all of the other Macs. And they still have different RAM to all the other Macs. The 2FX is the only Mac that uses this sort of RAM out of the entire range. I think, I've probably been around the bush enough. I think the next thing we need to do is have a look at the board. I'm going to start on the underside, on the birdseed side, and just see what it's like there. Because oftentimes when you get a computer with battery damage, the underside comes through fairly unscathed, but not this one, unfortunately. Sorry, I'm just reading stuff, all the tech stuff that Kai brings to the table, which is always very, very useful. Right, so jump across to the microscope view. Let's have a little look-see, see what we can see here. So, well, apart from the fact that I need to sort out something there. Okay, right, let's have a look here. Oh, this has got some of the leftover rust from when I was actually scraping this yesterday. I scraped some of this off before putting in the ultrasonic cleaner because the ultrasonic cleaner is not very good at getting this kind of caked stuff off. So, as I take a lot of this stuff off and expose some of this copper, we've got a break there. I don't know if you can see that. Is that? What's the story with that? Oh yeah. Yep, so that's eaten through. You can see that there. It's eaten right through into there. We've got some more next to it. Eaty throughy over here. The copper's still intact there, but it's certainly been eaten through a fair bit. What's that? It's a 332. Is that say 332? Goodness me, this is going to be fun trying to identify this stuff. Look at that. 332, I think. It says 332. Jeff Bernard, hello. Iron oxide is better than copper oxide. Yep. Yep, I'll agree with you there. Yep, that's 332. We can always confirm that. By the way, did I mention one of the really important things when you're working on computers like this, when you're working on vintage computers, it's really, really important to have a good multimeter by your side. And if you're looking for a good multimeter, particularly one at a budget price with all sorts of features, what you want to do is you want to have a look at the old Kai Wheats KM601. Beautiful big screen, lots of features, smart multimeter, smarter than I am. And I'm going to use my multimeter at the moment just to go in and test that resistor and see if it is actually still resisting to its resistance of resisting. Okay, well, let's go now to put this into resistance mode, and then I will just test that one. And we'll get into focus. How about that? Because that's what we do here. First test, inconclusive. Okay. Okay, 3.3K. So, yep, 3300 ohm. Let's see if I have a replacement for that. I can't see because I'm getting old. Angular momentum, hello. My glasses are dirty. Blue case Kaiweets meter. Blue! Blues, I tells you. As in, you mean the plastic? The actual plastic is blue. Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying the protective case that it came with it? I didn't get a blue one. These glasses are damaged. Awesome. I probably dropped them on the ground and stepped on them or something like that. I like to do things like that. So, right, looking through my resistors here, because they're tiny little writing. Oh, these are 4-digit, so hang on. What's 3300 in 4-digit, peoples? Yeah. What? Toolkit. And it's just a question, will Joe put this into the chat before I get a chance to look it up? Okay. Boo, 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 boo. Well, at the rate I'm going at the moment, he certainly will. Yeah, I'm struggling here. Sorry, folks. Three, 301. Do. Oops, I'm going to start doing the old Joe Doobie Doo thing, aren't I? Three. That's it. I'll just confirm that. 3301. And let's have a look here. 3301. So you can basically buy kits from, well, I bought this one, I think, from, was it AliExpress maybe? Or might have been Banggood? I'm not sure. Anyhow, I bought this, and I just bought kits of massive amounts of resistors. And so I can just get this one and replace that. So this is going to be our very first step in repairing this board. We're replacing our very first component. What a momentous occasion. We all sick of looking at the multimeter yet? So if you're looking for a Kaiweets KM601, just jump into the description. You will see a link where you can buy one. This has got component adhesive on it. It's a lot easier to remove while it's still a little bit hot, so just heating it up there. Gonna get a little bit of flux onto here. Actually, I really should just scrape this first. Look at it, what a mess. Oh my God, what a mess. This is going to be a long project, isn't it? Make no mistake. How was the creature from the Black Lagoon, DJ Craze? Well, this is after it's been cleaned. This is after it's been ultrasonicked. 30 minutes per side I did it for. And still a lot of gunk on here. But where there is a will, there is a way. To be honest, there are some computers that you wouldn't really bother. You wouldn't invest the time in. And I don't want to go around Mac Classic bashing, but if this was a Classic, I would just say, no, there's no point. But for a 2FX, in particular out here in Australia, they are like unicorns. They are so hard to find and get hold of. I don't know if anyone else saw this listing on eBay, and more importantly, if you did see this listing, were you tempted to buy it? This will be for an Australian, of course. If you're an Australian and you saw this listing, were you tempted to buy it? Were you disappointed when you saw it had been sold? I'm just curious to know. Or did you just think, no way am I touching that because it looks awful? Do you know what I was really disappointed about? This is so silly. When I went there to go pick it up, they'd cleaned the outside. It's like, you cleaned it? I was going to do a live stream showing how ugly it was, and you cleaned it. Okay. How much was it? It was 149 Australian dollars. Eric's Edge, hello. Ooh, I think Steve is talking about potentially streaming after I've finished. So how about that? Now, I've got an issue with this component here. I mean, yes, I could probably go in and look this up on the schematic what it is, but ultimately I've got a capacitor here that I don't see any writing on. So I've got absolutely no idea what capacitance it is. I will probably take it off and clean it up a little bit and put it back down again. Try and just use the existing component. Yes, it would make sense to replace the component. And I do have a bunch of spare capacitors. If I knew what the capacitance of this one was, I suppose I can take it off and measure it, can't I? Stranger things have happened. It actually looks alright though. Spent double that on 3 2FXs. 3 of them. I've actually told the story about how I have 3 Macintosh 2s here in the house. And you sort of think, why on earth do you need 3 Macintosh 2s? And it was never my intention to own 3. I only ever wanted one. I wanted a particular one. I wanted a Macintosh 2 that had the ROM upgrade to allow it to read high density floppy disks. Because that was the Mac 2 that I used to own and got rid of all those years ago. So that was what I wanted. Anyhow, a Mac 2 came up on eBay. Oh no, I shouldn't say that. I bought a lot. A lot came up on eBay. A lot of computers, or 8 or 9 computers, something like that, for a pretty reasonable price. And I went and bought that lot, and in that lot was a Mac 2. And of course, it was a gold mine because it actually had a Radius Rocket 040 in it as well. So that was awesome, but it was missing a power supply. So I had this Mac 2 case, bit of damage on the case, but I had this Mac 2 and no power supply. Worked beautifully, recapped it, got it all ready to go. And so then I was thinking, okay, I need to try and get hold of a power supply. Then another Mac 2 came up on eBay, and this time this one came up, and just by pure luck, it was the one with the ROM upgrade. So I grabbed it and I was like, oh yeah, you know, this is awesome. So it was like absolutely fantastic. And this one was complete. It had a power supply in it. So anyhow, set it up, powered it on, used it for about 10 minutes, and then the power supply broke. It just stopped. Power supply gone. So now I've got 2 Mac 2s and 0 power supplies. So then I put out the word into the community, and I said, you know, to everyone out there, I said, guys, anyone in the Australian Mac community, I'm after a Mac 2 2X or 2FX power supply, you know, because they're the same. If anyone has a power supply, I'm happy to pay for it. You know, I'm not asking for it for nothing, but if anyone has one they can spare, please let me know. Anyhow, answering the call was our good old friend Jeremy Barhyde down at Canberra, who, you know, as I mention all the time, he is just one of the real, you know, good guy gentlemen in this you know, vintage computer sort of community. He said, yep, I've got a Mac 2 power supply. I'm not asking for any money for it. I'm going to send it to you. And I was like, awesome, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. So anyhow, the power supply arrived, but it was encased in a Mac 2. So I got the power supply and the whole Mac 2 to go with it. Case, motherboard, everything. Now, the motherboard was pretty yucky, but I did repair it. It's behind me, and got it all working. So now at this stage, I've now got 3 Mac 2s and one power supply, one working power supply, the one that I got from Jeremy. Then the other day I went and finally repaired the second power supply. So now I've got 3 Mac 2s and 2 power supplies. So that's why I have so many Mac 2s, though I had really it wasn't my plan to have that many. The screen printing is a lot harder to get off with these, but I've got to get it off because I've got to see if there's intact copper underneath. I mean, is that one intact? Yep, that is intact. Yep, we're good. Okay. There are 2 ways of looking at a job like this. When you sit down to it, you can just look at it as this absolutely insurmountable mess of awfulness. Or you can section it. You can look at it a little piece at a time. Get that little piece working and then move on to the next piece. The only time that that method fails on you is when you spend all this time working on a little section and then you move to the next section and then you realize that the computer is actually so bad there's no point in repairing it. So, and that happened to me once before. I was busily just cleaning up this little section, getting it all working, and then I got that all fixed, got all the trace repair done, moved across to the next section and went, there's no point. Oopsie. I just filled up my E46 99 octane E5. Cost me £1.72 a litre. That's expensive. That is expensive. We're sitting at around about $1.80 a litre. So if we convert that into pound, so I mean £1.72 here, that's $3 a litre, something like that. That's extraordinarily expensive. Lucky you. I filled up yesterday for $1.76. So that was yesterday, 24 hours ago. A little less actually than 24. Right, now I have just been faffing around here. I want to get this component back on. So in order for me to do that, I've got to clean it up. I need to get a tissue, which is really hard to reach at the moment. I've got to get some UV mask onto this in the middle because, and I'll repeat that, because I've got some exposed copper there. Okay. Yeah, I've done some little price comparisons with what Americans are paying. Well, certainly the Americans, I know what they're paying for petrol. What we call petrol, what Americans call gas. Americans typically are still paying less than us. Now, anyone who might be watching this is not used to my videos or haven't watched them before, first thing I'd like to say is, welcome, hello, and welcome. And thank you for joining, and I do hope that I will be able to provide something that will be entertaining enough for you to at least enjoy a little bit of it. The second thing I would like to mention is that I use UV solder mask. This is what this stuff is, this green stuff that I just painted on. It is UV curing solder mask. So it is kind of like a protective coating, an airtight protective coating that I'm putting over top of this copper. And it's not only airtight, it's also insulated. So that is what I'm doing here, and it cures when it's exposed to UV light. Now, one thing you can do is you can just take it out in the sun, but it's not particularly sunny here at the moment, nor has it been for weeks. There's a bit of sun out there. It's not too bad today. Today's one of the first days where, oh crap, hasn't rained. That's a little bit too high voltage. I'm glad I didn't press the power button. I probably would have cooked it. That's the multimeter telling me that it hasn't been used. Okay, there we go. Let's try it now. So this is a UV laser. It's a little laser beam. It's like the ones that you would use for, you know, sort of a laser pointer or, you know, cat toy, whatever you want to have. But this one is actually emitting ultraviolet light, and that ultraviolet light is curing that UV mask, and you can kind of see it changing from glossy finish to more of a matte finish as it dries. And once it's dry, I can plonk that new resistor on it, which I got no idea where it's gone. I mean, it was here, but I wasn't really looking after it, so I may have to grab another one. And that. Pew pew! Laser. Spirit Walker Adventures, hello. I watch lots of your videos and learn a lot. Well, I am very pleased to hear that. Thank you very much. That is essentially the goal of my videos. The whole purpose of my videos is sharing knowledge. I also like to try and entertain while I'm sharing that knowledge. So, you know, I mean, I do like it if people are actually getting some enjoyment from the video as well as learning stuff. But I'm very, very pleased to hear you say that, and thank you very, very much. And did anyone see where I put the resistor? Come on. Stop resisting me. Where are you? I probably cleaned it up and just wiped it off and flicked it off the face of the earth. So I will have to grab another one because I don't think I'm ever going to find that one again. Crazy person I am. 3301. This one I'll be more careful with. Now this is a 1206 size surface mount component. The 1206, it refers to the fact that its length is 0.12 of an inch and the width is 0.06 of an inch. So that's where it gets that numbering system from, the 1206. Now with a component like this, you can kind of put this on in two different ways. Number one, I could go in and I could put solder here and solder there, and then use a hot air gun and just let the surface tension of the solder suck this component into position. Or this component is big enough that I could actually just hold it with tweezers and solder each side. I'm probably going to do it that way, to be honest. Either way, I will start with flux. A little bit of flux on there helps the medicine go down. I'll plonk that onto there, and the flux is going to help the solder transfer from my iron onto the pad and the component. So I'm going to get my iron, I'm going to add some solder to it like this. Oh, I'm going to wait for it to heat up first. Metric for 1206 is 3258. Interestingly enough, even here in Australia, where we've been metricated since 1966, you will find people listing the metric sizes for things, but most people still seem to work in the old money when it comes to these component sizes. Certainly my experience has shown that anyway. Okay. Yep. Can I hold this still? Can I? I really need to come at it from a different angle, but this board is so big, I'm limited a little bit. See, I want to hold it like that. Okay, let's just clean that up a bit now. Oh, I did it off camera. Awesome. Oh, geez, that's all glubby. Oh, wow, jeez. Have I forgotten how to solder? It's looking that way. Just check and make sure that we've got a nice little bit of continuity. Something's burning. Okay. Nice little bit of continuity here. Test the old continuity. Whoopsie, whoopsie. From there to there. Yep, we're good. Okay, so let's move down to this capacitor. Now, I have this really cool trick that I do from time to time. and I'm going to see if I can do it again today. And that is when I take a capacitor off a board and then I try and measure it, I lose it. That's my trick. That's my special trick. I'm going to put that there. Right, what do we got here? Other than a mess, actually, I better just apply some heat to get rid of this component adhesive. As I say, it comes off much easier when there's some heat. Did I just hear a crow in the background? Sounded like something from Mad Max. You may well have. So they're actually ravens, which are part of the crow family. I accept that, but if we're wanting to be really technical about it, there are some native crows in Australia, in the north of Australia, but most of the big black birds we have here, they're actually ravens. And they make a very, very peculiar noise. It sounds kind of a little bit like a distressed child sometimes. And I didn't hear it because I just don't even notice it because it's such a common sound here. But it could well be. We do get a lot of the sort of raven noise, and it's sort of like a like that sort of noise. That's good. Okay, so look at all of the rust underneath that, but look what happens when we clean it. We get nice clean copper underneath. Love it when that happens. This, when you see that, when you actually are cleaning something up and you see that copper getting exposed, you go, yeah, you know, you think, yeah, this is worth repairing. I can do this. Maybe I should have started on the other side. Anyhow. You know what I should be doing? I should actually be looking at the other side just to have a look at the components that are damaged so that I can then get wonderful Kai in the chat here who will come back and say, yeah, they're still available. You can buy those on UT-Source. He does that. What happens when you can't measure or see anything about the resistor capacitor and there are no schematics? You are up the proverbial creek without a proverbial paddle. What often happens, and I've seen this happen before, is you might put out the word to the vintage community and you might just say, hey, has anyone got a Mac 2FX? This particular component, can someone please grab it from their board and measure it for me, please? You know, that happens. We get a lot of that community spirit, camaraderie. I'm just kind of trying to clean up this little hole here a little bit, this little voya. Oh, look at that one. Oh, look at this. This is where the joy happens. Stop it, Bruce. Stop it. Stop looking at all the horrible stuff. You haven't started yet. Go back to what you're working on. Pay attention to what you're working on. This section certainly does bring a tear to the eyes, doesn't it? What gauge of wire is that? I have some magnet wire, but it's too floppy and useless to try and use. Oh. So I have a video, I don't remember off the top of my head, and unfortunately the spools that I use are not... what I used then it wasn't actually wire that I put in there, it's these. It's a set of, let me just change camera here very quickly to top view. Top view. It's a set of tiny weeny little drill bits. So they go from 0.3 millimeter up to 1.6 millimeter, and that's, I won't open it because they'll fall out. But you can see there's teeny weeny little drill bits here, and that was the smallest one that I was using there. So it's 0.3mm drill bit. So I just picked these up, believe it or not, just at like normal hardware here. I didn't have to go to any specialist store or anything like that. It was just a normal everyday hardware store, and they just had them and went and grabbed it. So yep, they're quite handy to have. Right, and microscope. Scope view. Right, so let's continue. Let's look at the job ahead of us, and let's not despair. Now I have a pair of measury tweezery things for measuring like capacitors like this nice and easily by holding them in tweezers and measuring them. Unfortunately, I don't think they're charged at the moment. Let's see if I can charge them. Yes, they could be handy for what I'm doing here. Bonk. They're charging. Yay. Will it allow me to test while I'm charging? I don't know. We'll see. No, it's just showing me that it's charging. All right, it's telling me how much power is coming in. So we'll let those sit there for a little while and let them charge while we go here and try and tidy up this component somewhat so that we might actually be able to use this component, reuse it. So we have metal here. Yes, sirree, yes, sirree. The fact of the matter is, if I am able to properly identify this one, and I do have a replacement of this, I will put a new component on. I don't think I have 1206s though. I think I've got the next size down. It should still be alright. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try and test the capacitance of this with my multimeter and hopefully not lose it. We ready? Ten nanofarads. 10 nanofarads is what we have there. Bruce is dangerous. What, sorry, hang on. When a repair is not worth doing besides financial reasons. Yeah, that is something that we did cover in Mac. We've talked about that a couple of times. You know, you do have to kind of weigh this stuff up sometimes, don't you? You know. All right, let's see if I have a replacement. So these are 0805s, but I'll be able to stick an 0805 in here if I have it. Oh crap, 10 nanofarad. What's that in picofarads? God, I hate having to calculate these things out. I wish I just had a on the phone calculator for that. 10 nanofarad to picofarad. Microfarad. Okay, so we have 10 nanofarad is 10,000 picofarads or 0.01 microfarad. Yep, cool. Thank you. 22 picofarad, 180 picofarad, 100 nanofarad. I wanted 10 nanofarad, didn't I? I want 10 nanofarad. Whee! I have one here. It is, as I say, the wrong size. You can see here it's this size. But I will be able to make that work. Just like that. And if anyone has any reason that they think that I should maybe, I mean, it is a 50 volt, so there's no way it's going to be getting anything near 50 volt. So I think I'm quite confident about using this little one in replacement of it, unless someone says to me, don't do it, Bruce. Just don't. 10 nanofarad. I'm going to have to put a fair bit of solder on this to hold it in the middle, but that's okay. Yes, I mean, we know that, as I say, this is a 50 volt capacitor, and we know that it's never going to be exposed to anything close to 50 volts on this computer. I will say that a larger package would certainly be a little bit more convenient from a soldering it on perspective. But there it is. I might just tidy that up a little bit with some hot air. Whoa! Now I have to find it. Where'd he go? Here he is. Hello. I'm not having much luck here, am I? Come on, we can do this. Stop making me look bad. It would normally just be held in place by the solder, but because it's not on a pad, that's why it's flying all over the place. There we go. Okay. Right. There we go. 2 components down, 50 zillion to go. We just got to keep cleaning and scraping and cleaning and cleaning and scraping and scraping and cleaning. These are the ones that really concern me. These kind of where you just end up with this empty hole and you just don't know where it goes. You know, ones like this guy here. What on earth is going on here? I won't be using that. Let's grab another one of my teeny weeny little drill bits. Hello, Rudy. Is there some magic smoke? If there's some magic smoke, then you need 50. Hello, Daniel Flacala. You're going to lose the cap to yeah, I really should, using these size components, I really should be turning down the airspeed. In actual fact, I think I've got this still set on, yeah. I've still got this set on some dumb, stupid settings. No wonder it took so long to heat it. Now, the settings I was using for heating up the surface, heating up the screen of a iPad Pro when I was opening, you know, releasing the adhesive so I could change the battery. Change the battery. Which I did do. I did change the battery. Grabbing another drill bit here. This time grabbing one that's a little bit thicker. It goes straight through the board there. Straight through. So it'll be interesting to see what that's like on the other side. Lane Brown, hello. What hellscape have I just stumbled on? Yeah, that's what it is. We're not going to try and fancy it up or anything. It is awful. What we are looking at is we're looking at the rear side of a Macintosh IIfx logic board in the realms of the battery, but on the other side. And we've got some damage here. Yep. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it. As I mentioned before, I'll mention it again, just in case anyone has rocked up this recently. One of the things that really worries me about these sorts of things are the vias that travel up between layers in the board. Because if you've got actual data paths and stuff like that inside the board, you know, like in one of your layers, if you lose that, it can be quite a job to re-establish it. Having said that, I do have schematics. I'm hoping that it'll sort it out. So I still want to send you my IIfx board. Is it anything like this? I'm just curious to know. Can I just tell you, Kai, what I'm doing at the moment, I'm just getting practice. I'm getting practice in readiness for when you send it over. So, yep, okay. So I'm going to replace a couple more components here. Now, these ones do actually have a code on them. Does anyone want to try their luck at... Oh, I thought they did. Yeah, it does. Can I read it? Come on. 470. 470, that's easy. That's 470, so that's, hang on, 47. It's 47 picofarads, is that right? No. 470 picofarads. That would be right. We'll test it. We'll take it off and we'll check. 470 picofarads, which would be nanofarads and microfarads. Sorry, I keep going off the camera. Anyone who's just sort of wondering why I keep not showing you what I'm doing, it's because I have a much larger field of view through this microscope than what gets captured by the camera. Is that a good sentence or what? And so I'm just sort of looking at stuff, and then I suddenly look up and realise you guys aren't seeing anything. And for that I apologise. Trace is gone. Yeah. Lots of traces gone. I haven't started repairing any of the traces yet. I will do that, but for the moment, I am just enjoying what hasn't gone. Like this one, for example. Everything's still there. Yippee! Right, so now let's get this. Oh God, don't use that. These are the worst tweezers in the world. And I didn't even pick it up. Or did I? And drop it. I mean, I watched it across the table. Did it fall out? Oh no, here it is. This is my little cap here. We are going to, once again, try and measure him. Just to be sure that I'm not talking nonsense. Struggling with this one. Yeah, it doesn't like this one at all. Come on. Do it. Oh, Whoa, far out. And there it goes. Gone forever. Oh no, here it is. This is what happens when I'm measuring these things, you know. Oh, I'm breaking this. I don't know if I've got enough battery power in this yet. What was the silk screen for that part? It was 470. So, which, if I'm thinking of the, capacitor, that's normally 470. So that's 470. So 47 with no zeros after it. So it should be 47 picofarad would be my thought. But I'm open to suggestions. How can you be... I need you to zero. Can you zero for me, please? Okay, let's see what happens when I do my tweezers. Right. Oh, on the board, sorry. Oh, I think I might have scraped that off. Is it a resistor? I mean, it looks like a capacitor, but maybe it's a resistor. Maybe that explains why I can't get any sort of decent capacitance measurement from it. Because it might be a resistor that's just capacitor coloured. There we go, let's try it with resistance. Yep. It is. It's a 470, it's 47 microfarad. I mean, ohm, 47 ohm resistor. Crikey, they're messing me up. Toolkit, SMD code, 3-digit code, 470, and that is 47. Yep, it's 47 microfarad. I mean 47. Ugh. Oh God, I'm not quite here today, am I? Ohms, 47 ohms. Um, 47 ohms, 47R0. That's what I'm after. Boom, boom, boom. $22, 47R0. Got it right there. You guys can still remember the... I want to check here. I just realised that, I've got 52 people watching. Hello to 52 people. I hope everyone is doing well. Just to set expectations, I'm not sure if we'll be in a position ready to fire this thing up today. I feel like we're probably a little bit too far away from that in the grand scheme of things. But we'll have a good crack at it. We'll do some trace repair. And at some stage, I am going to get bored of this back bit and flip over on the other side just to see just how bad things are there. Boo, 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 boo. So it was R77, by the way, and it was a resistor, not a capacitor. So that's just answering your question very, very late there, Kai. Dana, did you get affected much by the rain where you are there in Bathurst? Some places have had some pretty nasty flooding, but I don't know what it was like there. And of course, if there are any components on this that are totaled, my hope will be that they'll be ones that I can potentially get off some of my other donor boards. Those two vias you're painting may supposed to be connected. No, don't think so. That one right there, that's just a dot. That's not meant to be connected to anything. I can tell. No trace of anything left there behind, so we're good. We're good. Look at this one. How crunchy is that? Damn. Oh, who's talking about pointers? We're talking about programming in C or something. Yeah, when I came back into programming, so I had done a lot of programming when I was young, and then I changed careers and did other stuff. And then at a certain point I decided I wanted to get back into programming. C was the first thing I had a look at. And I have to confess, I quite enjoyed using it. But I then moved to, for what I was doing, certainly on the Mac side of things, keeping in mind I was programming for the Mac, I ended up going with Real Basic, which is very similar to, you know, sort of Visual Basic in the PC world. And what it allowed me to do is allowed me to take an idea and turn it into a fully functioning sort of interface kind of, you know, piece of software in a really, really short span of time. And I really enjoyed it. That's what I did. I built lots of software at the time. I don't do that anymore. I do web development these days, but I made some software at the time that I did actually sell and made a little bit of coin from. There we go. Looking nice, looking nice. Right. I have to replace all these ones here as well. So that's a 1A4. 1A4. I do have codes for that. That one can probably stay though. I don't think I need to replace him. 1A4. 1A4. I've got like a kit of, as I mentioned, a kit of 0805s. I need to get a kit of 1206s as well. It's so handy to have. Is it 270? Okay. Oh, it's so awful here. It's so awful here. I don't want to be here anymore. Okay, 390. Got to look that up. 390. 390. That is 39 ohms. That's 39R0, which I have, I'm pretty sure. I don't. I go straight from 33 to 47. I don't have 49. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Well, hopefully I can salvage this little guy. Would cleaning with cleaning vinegar here and a cotton swab make life easier? Maybe. Okay, well, we've had our first completely rotten through. Oh, there goes all the copper. We know what that is. That is a battery hole. Anyone losing hope yet? Now, while I may have a schematic for this, the one thing I don't have is a board view. And that itself makes it quite difficult, because if you just have a hole like this, like let's just take, for example, right here, there's a hole. It's just a hole. There's no trace coming off it, it's just a hole. Actually, is it meant to have a trace coming off the side there? No, that's just my scraping. So it's just a hole here with no apparent trace coming off it. Which means that it might have a trace coming on the other side, and then it then needs to join to something. And so I have to find out what it joins to. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a little bit of wire and poke it through so I can just make it easier to find it on the other side. I'm going to flip over and just see what I can see when I flip it over. You go through there. You go through there and you'll stay there. You'll stay there. Just stay there. Alright. And that is going to there. Well, that makes life a little bit easier because I can clearly see this is going to this pin on this chip, which means that that is something that I can trace on the schematic and find out where that's supposed to go. So there's going to be a lot of that going on. And we'll see what this is. So, okay, the chip that I'm looking at here is UC17. I'm saying that out loud because I'm hoping Kai is still floating around with the schematics in front of him. And so we're looking at UC17, UC17, and we are looking at, oh crap, it's the old one again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It goes that way around, doesn't it? It goes clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Oh, hang on. 37 and 38. I bet you it's ground. What do you reckon? Do you reckon it's just going to ground? And it also runs off one side of R8. So one side of R8 goes through. It goes to these two pins, whatever I said before, of UC17. Anti-clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pins 8 and 9. Pins 8 and 9 of UC17 and one side of R8. I'll just be curious to see where that goes. I'm going to take this chip off and clean. I flipped sides because I got bored on the other side. How does that sound? Everyone wants to see this side anyway. Bye, Rudy. Hello, angular momentum. Eight 5308 megahertz. I wonder what this is. Bet you Kai knows. Wait, which pins? Okay, sorry. 1, 2, so it's UC17 and it's pins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pins 8 and 9. So pins 8 and 9 of UC17, and it also goes to one side of R8. And I suspect they are just ground pins. But, and I will look that up, but I figured, you know, you might be there with it in front of you and you might be able to just look at it. Just look at it. Right, let's have a look at this chip while we're here as well, because it's just there screaming at us. Just would have thought all those pins were gone, wouldn't you? Look at that. E-I-E-O and I-E-O. Neither I use on the Mac. Both. Really? No. That can't be right. Can't be. What about R8? One side of R8. Those pins. It's quite extraordinary. I just would have thought that most of these pins would just be gone, but okay, yes, these ones are gone. I'm not going to dispute that. What's this thing? 43256. Sony. It's got a speed on it. -10. What is this chip? Nice little bit of computer archaeology here. For SRAM. What's SRAM? What do we use SRAM for? It's dedicated SRAM for the co-processors for SCSIs. So interesting. So there is even a possibility that this might work just without SCSI, without that chip there, I guess. Does any other computer use SRAM for the SCSI? Would I find it on, say, a 2CI, for example? Or a 2SI? I've got a 2FX board here. It's not actually mine, so I can't go around rating it, but I'm just curious to see the condition. Oh, wow. The condition of that chip is actually really quite good on this one. Huh. I wonder if that guy would be interested in selling me that board. That's one with worse battery damage than this, but it's in a different place. Unique to 2FX. Don't tell me that. Fabrizio Cabral, hello. Me thinketh that board is toast. Don't be saying that. And don't you be saying that. Right, so I've got a device that I use. I'm going to just change camera views here for a moment. For when I have chips like this that are in a really, really ugly state. What if we try, I wonder if the other camera is working. Side view. Yay, it's working. So anyhow, I've got a chip. Like that there. And focus. And anyhow, it's pretty ugly, but most of the pins appear to be intact. So I'm going to clean it up. And when I do that, what I use is one of these. These are things for polishing nails. So they have a fairly coarse-ish sort of thing here, step 1 file nail. And so I'll give that a bit of a rub, try and get some of that rust off, and just expose nice clean metal. These are also really good for filing down 3D prints. You know, if you've got a 3D print and you're wanting to get rid of some of the ridges on it, you start with this and then you go down to this one, because each time they get a little bit less coarse, and you can actually end up polishing them to quite a significant shine. So for instance, I made a little power button for my G3 desktop beige Mac. And it has the buttons on those, they're notorious for breaking. And I was able, I 3D printed one, but it had little lumps on it, so I was able to file it down till it was a nice smooth finish on it. Okay, let's now have a look at this. Here's a pen up for the SCC. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad that the chats get recorded on my computer when I do this with this software. Top view. Typically when I'm replacing traces, the gaps of the broken trace are usually quite small.
and I can usually just run a wire across and then just tack it on where there is copper. With here, we've got such long ones here with really long snaky bits where there's absolutely no copper at all. It's going to be an interesting thing because I'm going to have to find some way of keeping those wires in position. All right, let's clean these up a little bit because we need to find out how many of these are still blessed with copper. Let's change views to microscope. Might make it a little bit more entertaining. You don't need to worry about saving that SRAM chip. They're $2 each on UT Source. Okay, cool. Plus delivery. Okay, with these ones down here, they are too crunchy for the solder to get through, so that's where we have to revert to mechanical methods. Ooh. Okay. Gregory Brady, I can't believe there were actually pads under there. Yes, I know, it's a bit like that sometimes, isn't it? You look at it and you think, yeah, no, that's gone. There's no way. That's, you know, that's completely destroyed. And then you get to it with a bit of a clean, and then you find, whoa, there's copper. How did that happen? All hail Gutwick. Now, we're not completely scot-free. We have definitely got some damage going on here, and I've got a fairly mysterious hole as well, which I need to investigate, because if we're going to put this chip back on, everything under it needs to be fixed. And it is far from fixed at the moment. So the mysterious hole that I have is where's my, here it is. Is this guy here? Oh, okay, yeah, he's just going to a trace. That's fine. Right, so repairy doos. So, Kai, I do apologise for imposing on you so much today, this evening. I guess it's probably very, very late in the evening where you are at the moment, on Friday, I dare say. What is UC17? Do you mind just giving me a rough appraisal of the UC17 situation as to what this chip is, what it does, whether it has lived a fulfilled life, that sort of stuff? Have I mentioned Tinker Different today? Don't think I have. Tinker Different. If you haven't joined up, you probably should, because it is an absolutely awesome community of people sharing stuff, sharing tech stuff, sharing knowledge, sharing designs. Is the serial controller. Oh, is it? Oh, here's stuff about that. Yeah. All available new, made by Zilog, but also, yeah, okay. I could probably even just not even bother about connecting it up, but I will. I mean, you know, part of me is sort of like, well, stuff it. I don't need serial on this thing. I never use serial on any of these computers at all. None of the computers that I have, I use serial, but I still like them to be working. That's the kind of guy I am. Oh, I got a super chat from Mike. And did it blow up yet? No, I haven't actually dared put power into this yet for obvious reasons. Well, reasons that should be obvious. But yeah, I think I'm a fair way from connecting power up to this one, I have to be honest. The funny thing about this 2FX is that it has been stored terribly, and there's rust on, you know, sort of on the RF shielding in the case and all that sort of stuff, and there's rust on the outside of the power supply. Haven't tested the power supply yet. I should probably do that. Test it with another one of these. You know, all of those things would have been just relatively quick clean to get them sorted. The one thing which is, you know, given us all the grief is the battery damage. And, you know, if only people just took the batteries out, everything would be fine. What's the point of applying solder? We could often reapplying solder. Is it to better prep the pad? Yes, it is to do that. It does two things. It sort of, it helps clean. So the new solder, the heat in the solder and all that sort of, the new solder, it kind of helps push some of the old solder away, the old solder that's, you know, got all crunchy and yucky. And the heat of the solder also helps to kind of prep the pad. It all seems really silly to be putting new solder on and then just cleaning it off again, but it is a very important part of the sort of preparation process. And you'll find that when we actually get to the point of going in and putting this component back on, it will be a very, very easy process, because these pads will just be all ready to take solder. It'll, you know, just sit nicely on the pad. It'll adhere to it, and it'll all be good. So, yep, it's that process of putting on new stuff and then wicking it away again. Right, so time to start repairing. This is the fun bit. I mean, unless you don't like repairing, in which case it's not the fun bit. But I do like repairing. Thank you very much for the super chat, Mike. That was very generous. I do appreciate it. Boo, 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 boo. Now, let's get the old multimeter, and we'll put it into beepity beep mode. For anyone who's not aware of what that is continuity mode, where it beeps at you if it's finding continuity. I just want to check. Yep. 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 Okay, good. And just some of these ones that look like they're a little bit rough, they're still connecting, so we're all good. Do you have a source for sound chips for LC2 boards? LC2 boards, LC2 sound chips. They're the smaller ones, aren't they? No, I don't. Sorry. I don't think I've ever bought any. I think I might have like a couple floating around on dead LC2 boards. I've got a couple of donors, but I don't think I actually have a source of them. I don't think I've ever actually gone to buy any. All right. wire. I've actually got an LC2 right there, but it's underneath 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classics, an SE reloaded board, 2 color classics, another 2 classics, and an SE. So I am not going to move that pile at this particular juncture. Pin 2 looks bad, cracked trace. Are you talking about this guy? I can certainly tell you this guy is bad, and this guy is bad, and this guy is bad. So we're going to just work our way through those for the moment. So, get the old wire again. I'm going to be using a particular thickness of wire. I could probably go with a thinner one, but there is a point where when it gets too thin, it actually starts to become quite difficult to manage. So it's finding that kind of that balance of you know, sort of not being too bulky, but and obviously being able to conduct electricity, and then being, you know, sort of controllable. So I'm going to get myself a little bit of solder on the end of my tip. Going to get myself some tweezers. Just melting off that enamel. And soldering it to what is under it. And that is that done. How long has it been since I mentioned all of the wonderful features of the Kaiweets KM601 multimeter? Look at all these things that it does, and my goodness, it is an inexpensive meter. Really doesn't cost much to own one of these if you want to. Beautiful big screen. It's really funny, at one of the live streams I did a while ago, someone was going, oh look, the batteries are nearly flat on your multimeter. It's still the same set of batteries, I should just mention. I haven't replaced the batteries on the multimeter yet. It's still plodding along. And of course, keeping in mind that I did a review on it, which meant that I sat there and had it on and was testing auto power off and stuff like that over and over and over again. So I did put it through its paces during that review. Is that 38 AWG? Now, here's the problem. Oh, no, 34. It's this one, not all of my spools have it written on it, but this one does have it written on it. So this is 34 AWG that I use for this one. That's the most commonly used size that I use for doing trace repair on these sorts of Macs. I would use a thinner stuff if I was doing it on, say, a more modern Mac, you know, like a MacBook Pro or something like that. And I use thicker wire when I'm wanting to essentially use the wire as a strengthener as well. But in this instance, I don't need that. So let me get some more fluxer in here. And I am just going to, I'm going to do this one in 2 stages. I'm going to do the first stage going straight down like this. And then I'll put a bend in it because I like to follow the curves, you know. Like that. Then I will bend it and do that. Hands wobbling. Just going to cut the end of that. And this is another thing that just drives people bananas on my trace repair video. When I cut the trace with a scalpel like this. People go, oh, you're going to break the trace. You're going to break the trace. And it's like, yeah, okay. You shouldn't use a blade like that. Starbuck Tech, hello. Lurking for a bit, but cleaning around the office. Yes, okay, good, good, good. $100 each. Pfft. I bet you they don't even have them. I've so many times I've been trying to find chips in your contact places, and you might do a search, and then it'll bring a website up, and on that website it'll say this a particular person has 1,000 of them. You go, sweet, no worries. Click here for a quote. Okay, I'll click here for a quote, and then next thing you know, you start getting like 50 emails from different Chinese tech companies, all going, "Oh, how can I help you?" And it's like, well, I don't know if you can help me because I'm just asking for a quote on this component that this person apparently has 1,000 of. And then they go away and they come back and they go, "Sorry, we don't have that one." They only have 1,000 there because they want you. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Does anyone else here see my problem? I sure see my problem. Oh, is that? Nope. Nope. Okay, so I basically just put wires down a hole. Going nowhere. Got an email from a game show I applied to be on. They're wanting me to send in more details. Oh, Kai's about to be famous. Look out world. Kai is about to launch himself onto the world stage. Is it one where you have to answer questions? Or is it one where you have to like dance or something like that? I'm just curious. Right, I have decided that I'm going to have to go in and get the schematic for this. So I have imposed on Kai enough. So I'm going to go here to my Dropbox. Anyone recommend any movies? I really need to watch something good. And I mean good. I haven't watched anything good in such a long time. And not like, heart-wrenching, I need something that's like entertaining, a bit of, I don't mind a good drama, multiple choice questions. Oh, you'll laugh. It's not The Chaser, is it? You're not going on The Chaser, are you, Kai? Oh, The Wheel. Okay, sorry. I see. The Wheel. The Wheel. The Wheel. Right, so what have I got here? 2FX schematic, Beaumark. Let's have a little look-see. I might just share my screen while I'm doing this for all of the folks, if I can. I think I can. Screen. And look at that. Okay, so let's have a look. What am I looking for again? I'm looking for UC17. I mean, I'm focusing on this area, so I really should have UC17 floating around. Now, we established that was serial, wasn't it? So, what have we got here? What have we got? New bus sockets processing, no. Sound generation, no. Hey, where have all my pages gone? Sheet 8 of 8. What's going on here? RAM memory. MPU, FPU. SCSI hard disk port. Port processing? Do you reckon that might be it? UC17. Or is there a separate section for... No. Close, get out of the way. Serial, here we go. Serial. It's split into two, which is rather annoying. UC7. Arm's getting sore. We're not UC7, we're UC17. UE8, yeah.
I need to go further up, don't I? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with me. Yeah, we go, UC17. Look at that. Right, so 17, we need to look at, so we've got it this way. We're going to figure this out. Yes, sirree, we're going to figure this out. So I am looking at pin 40, 44, 40, 40, 44, 44, 40, 45. Okay, 44, right, yes, okay. Pin 44. Now we just need to find it on here. 44, there it is, and it is going to pin 50, is that 54 of UC16? UC16. Okay, right. I see that. We can follow it along here. No. But where's it going to there? It's going through the board. It's not just going to there, it's going somewhere else as well. So don't give me that. Oh, it's D0 to D7. So that we need to find where they are, I guess. I'm not enjoying this. So what am I supposed to think here? I can clearly see that that's going from that location to that location. That's fine, but it's going somewhere else as well. Why isn't that listed on this thing? I'm going to jump back here so that I can actually read some of the chat and see if someone's going to come. Oh, look, Kai's been going crazy. Here we go. Excellent. 44 is D2, 43 is D4. Okay, so I like them wrong way around. It goes from D0 to D7. Okay, true, from D7 to D0. Okay, cool. It's all part of the data bus. So in all likelihood, wherever that via goes on the reverse links something else to the data bus. We just don't know what, because it's not here. So do I have to just try and hunt down that data bus somewhere else in the schematic? Will I just find it? Will it just pop up somewhere? And of course, it's even more helpful to know that this is written down backwards. I have just had an offer from Jay to have a multimeter party so that we can do some, maybe do some measurements of the board, which I may well take him up on. I do have another 2FX board here, which has damage in different areas, so it might have be of use to me. Okay, anyhow. So, I'm not happy. Can you flip the board over and see where there's a trace if there's one? There isn't. So this hole basically goes through to a via, and that via is just no trace on the other side. So wherever it goes, it's going via a layer inside the board. So here's what I'm going to do, just because. I'm going to get another 2FX board. Oh crap, that's not good. Oh, come on. Release me. Thank you. I'm starting to get
hungry. I haven't had lunch. Haven't really had breakfast either, but never mind. Right, so here's one with battery damage as well. My goodness, this one looks really good. Last time I looked at it, I thought, oh yes, the damage is over here. That's right, this one's got damage in a very different spot. Don't know why it's in this spot, but the actual battery side of it's not too bad at all. It's got all this damage in other areas. I still should fix it though. Make some money. Right, so here we've got the chip. Let's change over to microscope view. We are now looking at a different board. Is it going to pull up resistance? Can you flip the board? Okay, cool. So let's have a look at this board, what we're looking at. So there is our pin 1 there. So it's this one. Is it? What? Huh? It's different. Is this board different? Is it a different revision? Let's have a look. This is 8200282A. No. Appears to be the same revision. So am I going blind? I'm going to clean it. These are available on the ROM socket and the SRAM. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. No. All right. Okay. Yep. It's all. Everything's fine here. I'm just confusing myself. I thought I was looking at pin 44, but I'm not. I'm looking at pin 43. Everyone, pin 43 is what I'm looking at. And I'll tell you why I got confused. I got confused because this dot here, which says that it's pin 1, it's sitting on a trace, and I followed the line down to the pad that's on the end of the trace, not the one that's directly underneath it. So we're actually, that there is pin 1, that is 44, that's 43. So we're actually looking at pin 43, not pin 44. So that's all fine. That's just a little bit of an excitement in an otherwise dull day. So we're looking at, is it? No, it's this one here, this guy here. And he is going onto the other side. And he just stops. I can't say for certain, but I think it's like that one there. It just stops and goes nowhere. So what we're saying now, the thing is that if it was going to something just happily on that side of the board, it wouldn't go through a via. I would not have thought that it's actually gone through the board and coming out the other side. So let's wait. So what we do know is we know that it's going to be going to, I think, because let me just go in and have a look again. UC17. 43, okay, so 43, also part of the data bus, and it is going to pin 56 of UC16. So, I'm going to go there, and we'll just run this across. Yeah. There it is there. Okay, so, now,
logically speaking, where do we suppose it goes? It's got to come out somewhere. I'm going to go back here. We might have some words of wisdom from other people in the chat. Here's pin drop. Everyone is holding their breath. You think it might be a test point? Just a probe point? It seems a strange place. Test the blank pad on the back. See if it's grounded. I don't think it is, but I will test that. So, and it's joined to that pin, so it's the same one. So, let me just see if I can find it. So, that one. Okay, so it's the dot that lives just above the screen printing for C86. So, but if we have a look at it, C86, so it's that dot right there. So that little dot there goes through to that pin 43 of that serial chip, and not grounded. You can do a little bit of, you know, that sort of like octopus mode where I just go and I just run the multimeter over anything and everything on the board. I mean, would they have set it up as a test point on the underside of the board? Anything is possible, but just, it makes me, I don't know, I don't like that as a premise. And I certainly don't want to stick this component on if it turns out that I've got to go and wire this somewhere weird and take the component off again. But I'll be honest, I mean, I'm just tapping everything here at the moment. Nothing's going beepity beep. Oh, did anyone hear that? Thought I heard a little bip. Little tip: to locate where a trace goes, take a crocodile clip multimeter probe, attach it to a small pad of steel wool, attach one probe to ground, and then drag the wool pad. That's a bloody good idea. Have a go at the brain on Kai. It's delicious.
I don't have any steel wool, by the way, so I can't actually do that at the moment. I've got this. Do you reckon this might do? Can try it. We'll try it, shall we? Crap, I can't see this. Can't see this because, oh, damn, my eyes are crap. Okay, so let's see if this works. Look at that. Okay, so we're going to try this awesome little method. It will at least allow us to isolate. Okay, so let's try the other side and let's see if this theory works in an area where we know it connects to. So we're going from there, and we know it goes to here somewhere. Yeah, look at that. If anyone's just turned up and is wondering what the hell is going on, I blame Kai. Yeah, I mean, so far the only place that's bipping is where we know it goes. So maybe it is just a test point. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I really should fix this. UD6. Sorry, this is completely unrelated. Oh, far out. Oh, far out. What does UD6 do? Oh, it's a 74F574. Oh, that's got to be easy to find. I'm sure I can get that just at somewhere simple. Oh, let's not drive over old batteries. We can do without the ensuing fire. Oh, the chip. Right. Yep. I am going to move on now, by the way. I am satisfied that it is just a probe point on the other side of the board. That they just made it so that they could test it from the other side of the board. So they just ran it through to the other side of the board and just let it sit there. I'm happy with that. If everyone else is happy with it, oh no, they broke. My probes broke. Oh, piffle. I like those. Never mind. Master order incoming, yeah. Okay. Right, let's continue with repairs. I'm sorry about that little bit of a break there. That was a bit frustrating, wasn't it? For me as well. So, sorry folks. All right, let's get back to doing some repairs. Now, we were in this general vicinity. We have, I believe, another trace break here. I will just get my scalpel. So I've got a break there. So I only need a small little bit of wire just to bridge that across. If I was to be very thorough, which I've been known to be from time to time, I might actually clean out that hole and run the wire right through the via, just for a little bit of extra strength. So let's see if we can get that solder out. Yep, nice and easy. And of course we've got this one here as well. Go through to the other side. I really can see this being a long-term repair.
Bruce, those wires you put in are the connected.
E?
Are they connected? Not to anything at this stage. Well, they will be.
So when I'm doing a trace repair like this, where we have this sort of pad, what I tend to do is I leave a little bit extra of the copper. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to just get that there, and going to solder this down. And do it like that sort of thing. And then I'm going to leave some of the wire as it is. So I'm going to probably leave a decent length of this hanging out. And the reason for that is when I put the component back on, I like to actually bend it up, wrap it up, and go up the side of the PLCC chip of the pin, and have it so it's wrapped up the side. I just like to do it that way. Okay, now let's sorry about the quietness, folks. Doing that whole concentration thing where I'm using my whole hand-eye coordination type thing situation, and then the mouth stops working. Okay, that's all good. I think I did all of that off camera, so that's fantastic. We love it when that happens. And then we're going to flip over, and hopefully these wires go somewhere, and I won't be left with things going nowhere like I was before. So these are the two that we believe are just a probe point. Looks like we've got another one there. This one actually goes somewhere, so that's nice. We've actually got something to join to with this one. So I'm just going to clean off a bit of copper there and just run that to the flux. I should actually mention something really important here. This is mine. I bought it yesterday or the day before,
and I am obviously having a go to see if I can make it work. If this was someone else's board, I would probably advise against repairing it. And that sort of seems very hypocritical, but what you have to remember is this time that I'm investing at the moment, I am not going to charge myself for. What I would be saying to someone who had this board, if it was their board and they owned it and all that sort of stuff, I would be saying to someone, look, guys, dude, lady, whoever, person, I could easily invest hours on this. And at the end of those hours, it's not going to work. Or it may not work. I have no guarantee that it will work. So under those circumstances, you know, you kind of have to be realistic about this stuff, and set expectations accordingly with the sort of whoever you're doing this stuff for. And I would be inclined to say to someone, no, don't bother. But I don't care if I lose a bit of time. Is this my Quadrate 40 AV? Well, it's too soon to say, I think. Possibly. I'm going to need to replace that cap that I just removed the lettering from. Just a second while I find out what that cap is. So annoying. 1A. Oh, great. What? Excellent. So the number part of it is gone. There's 1A. There's meant to be a number there. But it's not there. Right. So we've got another one going nowhere. So we're going to go in and see if this is another one that is just a probe point or whether it really does need to go somewhere. We will find that out in just a moment. That is... this one. So let's check and see what the story is with 1, 2, 3, 4, pin 5. Pin 5. Pin 5. It's another one that just goes straight across to UC16 and probably a probe point on the other side. So it is, by the looks of it, RD. Was that received data? Something like that. So that one doesn't really need a trace to it either. So I may as well just lift it off with impunity. Bye. Okay. So we've got plenty to repair along here. Oh, excuse me. What? BA 1 to 5. What's that? See, this is the downside to this side of stuff, and I actually try and shield, you know, sort of my viewing public, let's say, from this sort of stuff. I try and just keep it down to the mechanical stuff rather than all of the diagnostic stuff, because the diagnostic stuff is just me sitting there staring at the screen and cursing to myself and all those sorts of things. So, yeah, just apologise. I'm apologising for that. Sorry, I've lost my live stream. Buffer data lines, okay. You are so worried. This one here? Is this the one you're worried about? Well, I am going to satisfy all levels of curiosity now, and we're going to whip it off and see what it's like. Okay, I'm going to put him here while he cools down, because if I touch him now, I will hurt myself. In case anyone had any sort of thoughts that this might just be an easy fix, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Gunk. Gunk. I apologise that I'm doing a few things wrong at the moment. Number one, I'm just dead silent. That's not very entertaining, sorry. Number two, I'm not reading the chat. So, Steve, assuming, of course, that I finish in the not-too-distant future, which may well happen because I'm getting pretty darn hungry, and this is clearly going to be a multi-part adventure,
What do you think you might stream if you were to stream today? Is that something we could possibly expect that I can... Yeah, maybe send some people your way at the end of my stream if you start up after me. Lousy iOS kit. What? Okay, hang on, sure. I need you present to be present for my Rusty SE30. Yes, well, okay. Well, one of the things that generally happens, the moment I finish a live stream, I rush off and do a bunch of chores, because it is Saturday here. Sometimes I live stream on Sunday, but I'm busy tomorrow, so I can't live stream tomorrow. So today is when I'm live streaming. And so, although I would definitely like to be present for your stream, I can't guarantee I would be there, at least for the beginning of it, because I would need to. I need to dash off. I haven't worked out what I'm going to cook for dinner tonight. I asked my wife before I started live streaming, and I got something pasta from her. So I need a bit more information as to what she would like me to cook. But she did say something pasta. Now she may well have changed her mind since then. Bet you no one watching this thought every single one of these pads would be intact. But carbonara, yeah, see, I'm a huge fan of carbonara, in particular seeing as we have chickens. Of course, if you're making a carbonara, one of the last stages just before you serve it is you have a little kind of like it's raw egg and Parmesan cheese mix, and you mix that all up, and then at the last minute you just put that in and stir it through the pasta, and the heat of the pasta cooks that egg and makes this lovely eggy creamy sauce. And so I love carbonara because we've got lovely fresh eggs, and it just makes that carbonara sauce beautiful. So I will always vote for carbonara, but I like to make sure that when I'm cooking something, it is something that my wife wants to eat as well, not just me. And if she says carbonara, I will be, yeah, carbonara it is. Now, how many Rossmans of flux do you think I'm going to stick on this when I clean this up? So that's about one Rossman there. So I'm going to probably put on, that's probably about 4 Rossmans worth there. So I've exposed all this copper, and we can't leave it exposed because it will eventually corrode. So what I'm doing now is just coating everything in solder, tinning it, as they say. That's what they say. And then we'll run over it with some wick, solder wick, so that we end up with just a thin layer remaining rather than the big mounds of solder that we've got there at the moment. Anyone here not familiar with who Rossmann is? If you are one of those people, we're talking about Louis Rossmann, who has made a bit of a name for himself repairing Mac laptops in New York. And when I very first started watching him, I watched him out of necessity, essentially. I had a MacBook Pro with some problems, and I did a Google search to see if anyone had found a solution to those problems, and he had. He was like, if you're having this problem, this is how you fix it. And I watched it, and I learned stuff, and I kept watching and learning things. And then unfortunately, you know, rightly or wrongly, he sort of does a lot more kind of social commentary these days and less of the actual repair work, and I'm not particularly interested in that. He's a very intelligent human being, but he is he's compared to me, he's kind of young and sometimes says things where I sort of think, you're lacking a little bit of wisdom in saying that, my friend. But yeah, he has provided the computing world with some wonderful information resources, so we should all be very glad of that. Yeah, there is the whole problem with the wet paper towels and wiping your backside with those in terms of what it does to drainage. I don't know if anyone has seen some of those things that they pull out of the sewers of paper towels that are all just clumped together in a great big glob. They're just disgusting. Interesting experiment if anyone actually wants to go down this path. If you want to run this experiment, what you do is you get 2 glasses of water, and then in 1 glass of water you drop in a couple of sheets of toilet paper, and then another glass of water you drop in a baby wipe, or you drop in, you know, any of those wet wipes that people are talking about, and you go leave them there. You leave them there for half an hour or even an hour, however long you want. When you come back, you will find that toilet paper is basically broken down into it's almost like liquid, you know. I mean, if you stir that water with the toilet paper, and this is clean stuff we're talking about, clean toilet paper, if you stir it with a spoon or something, the paper just dissolves in the water. Over time, it basically just falls apart, whereas the wet wipe will still be a solid piece. And that's one of the reasons why they're really not meant to go down the toilet, not meant to flush them. Bad for the environment. I don't deny that you will get cleaner, but it's a bit of an environmental issue. Okay, into beepity beep mode, and I'm just going to check some of these. So, sorry Kai, I've imposed on you a lot during this live stream. What does this chip do? You may have already mentioned it. This is also part of the serial or something, isn't it? I think I noticed that this serial controller was going along to this, so I assume they have some tandem role that they play involved in serial. Right. I've prepped that. I'm pretty darn happy with the way that looks. We've got every single pad there. All the traces look intact. looking good. Okay, yes, I'm going to have to do some joins on this side here. You can see a couple of breaks, but I'll wait till the chip's in before I do that. So this stuff up here where it's all kind of ugly, I'm going to have to sort some of this out. But that's okay. Right, now let's see if we can sort this out without bending any pins. Here is the chip. Now, where I want to be with this chip, it does not have to be perfect, but what I want is I want to make sure that the bottoms of these pins are shiny. See how dull these ones are? There's no way solder is going to attach itself to those. This is so scary. Does anyone else get the feeling that like any second one of these legs is just going to break off? Did I lose that other chip again? The cereal chip? Hello. I think it's on here somewhere. Oh, it'll be around here somewhere. Can't be too far away. It's too small to really lose. I mean, too big to really lose. Chris, do you have a good eraser? I find they really help remove crud from chips like that. I do up in the house. It definitely might help. I'll see how I go with my present course of action and see. A lot of this crud here is very, very dry and is just kind of flaking off, which is really nice. I have my little nail file thing, which I used before, and I will probably bring out again for this. I'm applying pressure down with my finger, pushing the chip down onto the surface so that the pins are sort of being forced against the timber so that I don't accidentally bend them. They're kind of being held in place there. But not too much pressure, of course, because if it's too much pressure, it's just going to fall apart. Apologies if I'm missing anything important in the chat. I see people chatting amongst themselves, and that's fantastic. But if any of that chat is actually meant for me, questions or something like that, just let me know. One of the annoying things about this software I use is that when you do the @Rankus Creations at the beginning of a message, it doesn't highlight them for me in this chat. So I do sometimes miss some of those comments. looky what we have here. So this is the worst hit part, the part closest to the battery damage. Goodbye, leg. This is terrifying. You can just feel some of these legs are just ready to let go. Phew. The lengths we go to, eh? There's an almighty noise coming from somewhere, but I've got so much noise in here I can't really tell what it is. Maybe someone's mowing their lawn. Today's one of the first days we've had where it's not actually raining. It's still overcast and yucky, but I think some people might be getting out to mow their lawns. Because, you know, it's we've just finished summer. It's now just the beginning of autumn, and we've had so much rain. Everything is just growing like crazy. We haven't been able to mow our lawn in ages, and it looks awful. Pin. Pin. Lost one. So that's 2 pins we've got. Was it 2 or 3? There's, yeah, 2 come off. So 3 pins in total we've lost so far. Thankfully, we've still got the tops of them. So I've got stuff to connect to. Very quiet at the moment, sorry guys. I really shouldn't pick stuff that makes me concentrate so much. It makes me a very, very boring host. I'm just sitting here doing stuff. Everyone's like, is Bruce there? Is he actually there today? Thank you very much, Alex. Right. I'm going to have a crack at putting this back on. Maybe. Still more cleaning to do. Ah, careful pin. I need to get that cleaned up. Now, how am I going to do that? I'm going to do something a bit risky here. Try something. These pins are so weak. You know, if I can get them on, soldered on, they'll hold themselves together. Don't need to do anything of those. Okay. Okay. Okay, well I think we are possibly in a state, I think we're possibly in a state here where I can possibly get this back on. Give it another squirt. If you're wondering what I'm squirting it with when I'm squirting it with flux cleaner. Just to get some of that gunk off. Give it a good old squirt. Okay. Oh, dear, oh dear. too sleepy now. I'm so sorry, Steve. I knew this was going to be a long one. I will be stopping fairly soon, but I do want to get this chip on the board, back on the board. I just feel like I've dedicated so much time to it that if I don't actually put this back on, I'll end up with very, very angry viewers. They'll be furious and they will give me all sorts of grief. I'll start getting hate mail. Sorry, let me put that another way. I'll start getting more hate mail. What? You think the vias might be shot? I don't think they are. You want me to test them or something like that, Kai? Is that what you're objecting to? No masking under it. No, I mean it's all solder. Sorry. So it's all tinned. So it's going to be protected from the elements. There was one dodgy looking one. Okay. Are you the dodgy looking one? Are you thinking? Hang on, let me just get my little drill already, Teddy, which I've lost because that's what I do here. There we go. It goes through. I actually feel pretty good about these vias, I'll be honest. If I'm to be totally honest with you. I reckon they go through. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Dark spot on one of the traces. Which one? Which one? There's a little bit of narrowing here, but that's still continuity. Dark spot, center left, next round. See, this is what happens when Jay takes a screen snap and then he messages it to me, which I appreciate. A message from Jay. Window. Messages. Oh, here we are. That's done. Dark spot. Oh, I see it. Okay, I see what you're looking at. Yeah, I see it. I think that's still copper, but yes, thank you for pointing that out. We'll give it a little scrapey scrape. He's good. He's good. He's Ebenezer good. That's good too. Okay. All right. We ready to see this chip go down? Horst is here. Hello, Horst. I have 3 blue scuzzies in a bag here for you. Where'd I put the chip? Put it here in a little safe spot. Let me just check and make sure that I got it the right way around, because I think I've removed all the screen printing. Okay, so he sits on there, upside down. Right. So I am going to use my normal method for soldering a chip like this down. I'm going to do a little bit of a tack in this corner and then make sure it's all lined up properly. Anyone else nervous? Anyone? Anyone? How goes the MIG welding? It goes really well. So the next big problem I have at the moment is I can only weld outdoors, and it has literally been raining for weeks here. Anyone, you may have actually seen that on the news. There's, in terms of Australia getting on the news every now and again, international news, we have had some fairly significant flooding here. I haven't been flooded, but a lot of people have. But, oh, the other important news is Neighbours has been cancelled. How about that? Now that is some major news. Ever been in a situation where you really wish you'd grabbed the solder before you started holding something in place? Okay. So yeah, I haven't been able to weld anything, but what I am planning to do, I'm planning to weld a new bracket for the camera that I've got holding that up there. I've already got a bracket here for this camera, and it's awesome. I love that bracket. And so yeah, but I haven't had a chance to do any welding lately because I haven't been able to get outside. Yep, no one wants to watch Neighbours anymore. This is the world we live in, folks. Neighbours. I used to watch it in my youth, back in the days of Scott and Charlene. So now we live in a post-Neighbours world. Well, not yet, but we will soon. Harold disappeared. Harold was also one of the writers on the show. Did you know that? Ow. Yeah, I would normally drag solder this if it was a new chip, but with the state of these pins, it's not an option. Not an option at all. So I'm having to revert to more nearly falling apart pin chip friendly soldering methods. I am a huge fan of drag soldering. I talk about it quite a lot in my live streams because if you do it right, you can... those ones are so easy because they're the good ones. Having said that, now that I actually have those pins in place, I am going to try a little drag just on those ones. Just down that edge, that long edge, if I can get this in the right freaking position. Flux, 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 flux. That's about 1.5 Rossmans there. Okay, that one went okay. Let's see if we can do the same on this one. Okay. Freaking out, eh? And now we have this one. And this is the scary one because these are the pins that were the closest to the corrosion. And so these guys are really fragile. I just realised I can't go anywhere, Steve, anyway, after this. Well, I can't for a little while, because my wife has the car. Fair enough, guy. You do what you have to do, mate. See what I did? I bent a pin. Need a better angle on that. I broke him off. Sorry, you couldn't see that, but I just broke off the pin. The one that I bent, I just broke it. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about this. That's four pins that I have to repair, but that's, you know. Now, this one here I'll probably leave for the moment because this trace has to be completely redone, so I'll do that all in one go. This one here, is that a no stuff? Is that one that doesn't go anywhere? I didn't even check. Artie, sorry, I'm getting itchy at the microphone, so I'm probably making all sorts of horrible noises. So, yoink, yoink. That one definitely goes somewhere. All right, well, let's start with the one that I just broke. And I think what I will do with this is, first thing I'll do is, I'm going to actually change soldering irons for starters. I'm going to go to a micro pencil. It just gives me a lot more control. Jay loves it when I use this because he's the one that finally talked me into buying one after who knows how long. I was just using the regular old one, and then he said, no, get a micro pencil. And I'm like, I don't need a micro pencil. And then I got it and I was like, damn, I wish I'd bought this ages ago. So it's a little fine tip like this and gets incredibly hot for its size. So I'm going to solder a little bit of wire here, and then I'm going to loop it up over onto that. So I'm going to see if I can get, I can tin that top bit first. Sorry guys. There we go. Okay, so we're going to try and tin this little bit first. Great. Got a nice little bit of solder on that. It's looking good. Now, we get some wire. When it comes to the order in which I do these, it really comes down to sort of practicality, which is how is it going to be easier to access it. And looking at this one here, it'd be easier for me to access the one at the bottom first, and then bend it up over and wire at the top. So let's start here. Whoopsie. Put that there. Get some solder on the end of the iron. Get some tweezers to hold this in position without burning the fingers. I might just tin this wire first, so that solder's sticking to it. Just like that. There we go. That's soldered to the bottom bit. Then I can just bend that up and over and down there. A little bit of flex actually. I'll just try and solder it first to see. There we go. And that, as they say, is that. So there is our first pin repair, right there. Now we just have to do that for the other ones. Oh, and I noticed that one's not soldered down terribly well either. Okay, there we go. All right. Well, I've been going for 3 hours, crikey. I'm hungry. I'm just going to do 2 more little pin repairs, and then I am going to call it a night, or day, afternoon, whatever you want. And then I will have to offer my apologies to Steve once again for confounding his plans to live stream, because I went for too long. But, you know, we knew this one. Well, let's face it, this is one you can just go for as long as you want. Stay down, you thing, you with the thing. This one, it's a little bit further out. You see, it's going in. If it goes in too far, I'm worried that that wire might touch something it's not meant to touch. Why am I zoomed out so far? Right, and then we will get a little bit of solder onto this one. Like that. I apologise for the whole focus issue here. It's when I'm zoomed in this close, the depth of field is so narrow that you know, it's just so easy for things to go out of focus. Okay, so there's that, and then I'm going to do one on this side. This one might be a little bit easier because I've got a slightly better angle. Oh, yay. I don't think this goes anywhere. So let me check. And if that's the case, I don't need to do anything to it. Oops, just dropped my wick. Yep, he doesn't go anywhere. I don't know if you can see, but that pad is basically just... let me use it. Here we go. That pad is just all on its lonesome. It doesn't go anywhere at all. So I don't even need to repair that pin because he doesn't go nowhere. Great, so I need to still repair this one here, but as I mentioned before, this one here snakes all the way along here and 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 goes to here. So I would do that all in one go. So I basically start it here, run it all the way along there. Oh, stuff it. I'm doing it. Just that one. No more. Then I'm finishing. Okay? Sorry. It's just taunting me. It's just looking at me and saying, "Fix me, you." You'll notice that when these ones are eaten all the way through, you can actually see that there is like a little channel left in the board the copper sits in. So it's not just like a little flat layer of copper, there is some depth to that copper. Hey, why are you sleeping? my soldering tip is not getting hot. That's because it was still sleeping. Wake up, sleepyhead. Uh, yeah. Yeah. I don't like it when I bend the wire.
Okay. Aye.
Then we need to, we'll have to attach that somehow. I guess with some UV mask or something. There's no point in doing it now, because I've got so much more trace repair to do in this section. Hey there, Dave, how you going? Oh, fridge magnet. There's no way you'll be able to see what I'm doing at the moment, because I'm right off the edge.
Yeah, there's no way.
Okay. There we go. Need a little bit more solder on the iron.
Phew.
Okay. Let's get a little bit of... I am sure that there is just so much that you're missing as I'm doing this, because I just keep going outside of the camera view, and I'm so sorry, everyone. Makes stuff pretty damn boring when you can't see what I'm doing. Well, that clearly wasn't soldered on, was it? Dang it. There we go. There we go. There we go.
You do really want to fix your board to do it one trace at a time, sure. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just quickly check this trace. He goes along here to there and to there. So I'm just going to get the old multimeter out. And we're going to test. Right, so we're going from there across to here. And we're good. So there was, I would consider that to be probably one of the more significant repair jobs on this board, and so to have got that done, I guess, is a good positive step, a good step forward. I still have lots of trace repair to be done around here. We accept that. And here, and of course this chip is going to need to be replaced. There are ways with chips, if you don't have the chips available, where you can get like a Dremel out and you can cut into the side here and expose a little bit of copper, and then you can then go on and solder onto the little bit of copper hanging out here. I can possibly even just quickly demonstrate that here. I'm not going to do it with this chip, so I don't actually care what happens to this chip, but I can at least just show what would happen. So I get myself a little Dremel-y engravery thingy. Switch on the Dremel and make awful Dremel noises. Yeah, this is my my Dremel that just goes faster by itself. Oh, my hand's getting sore. Yeah, the copper is halfway through it, basically. So there's two halves of this chip. And we have to get through the top half to get to the copper. This is taking me a lot longer than I thought it would. Really thought I'd be through by now. We're nearly there. We're nearly there, folks. Oh, I guarantee it'll be worth the wait. It's rusted. It's rusted right into the chip. You can actually see in here. That there's just nothing here. It's rusted right through into where we see that metal there. You could do it. It's doable, but you know, it's that's all rusty stuff underneath it. Another good reason for buying a new chip for this one. Alrighty, well I think I'm going to call it a day. That's 3 hours worth. I started with quite a lot of viewers at the beginning, and I think I managed to just bore most of these people away. And for that I apologise. Can I remind everyone, please, if it's all right, if you wouldn't mind getting out there and no, that's the wrong setup. Could you please
smash that like button?
Haven't already? That would be greatly appreciated. This is definitely going to be a journey, this one. I hope that one day, in the not too distant future, we will hear the sound of a chime on this one, and it will be a wonderful rejoicing moment. So let's just have a quick, so this is where we've been working here. That's the chip that I just put on and did all the little trace repairs to. This is the one that we removed before and I've lost, but I'm sure it's here somewhere. Here it is. That's this guy. And we've got some trace repair to do there as well. I've got one here. I need to get into the schematic and I've got to find out where it goes. So that's going to happen. So I've got those, and we've got a whole bunch of trace repairs to do here. Got to replace that chip. Got to replace some of these caps that are looking a bit ugly. Got to replace some of the resistors. We've got to continue the work on the other side of the board. We replaced a few components there. We've got more to replace, and we've got a few traces to repair there as well. I feel like I've seen everything now that there is to see in terms of what problems this board has, and I think we might be right. I think we might be able to get it sorted out. So I'm feeling, pretty good about it. Just a reminder about the old Macintosh. If you go in and have a look at the, #Macintosh 2020, there are quite a few videos there for that. Thank you to everyone for joining me. Thank you for keeping me company. Has anyone seen my little badges? See my badges? I got this one here. It's my Motorola one, 68000, 68020, 68030. I made these, by the way. I've got my Crazy Cap Man, and I've got my, oh, hang on, this one. I've got Scuzzy, Bus Not Terminated, and of course I've got the Apple logo. So I bought myself a badge maker, button maker, whatever you want to call them. Did I, what? 2020, I didn't say 2023 now, 2022. Macintosh 2022. That's what we're looking at. Macintosh 2022. I'm sure that's what I said. Yeah, so I may do a little bit of this, not on live stream, but I will probably continue doing stuff on it with live stream. So I do hope you can join me for that, and I do hope that one day we'll get this all up and running and everyone will be happy. All right, well, thank you, people. Thank you for sticking around for such a long time. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you at the next live stream if you dare. So, bye, folks.